Hi, I thought I would make a video about British slang because it seems to be a popular thing on YouTube. These videos have been around for years and they always get lots of views, so I'm jumping on the bandwagon basically. I had to do a bit of research into this because a lot of words that I use regularly, which can actually be considered to be slang, I don't really think of them as being slang. I just sort of think of them as being just normal words. And so I was thinking, well, that's just a normal word. Is it slang? Well, I suppose it must be if it's classed as slang. I mean, in 2008, I went to America for a friend's wedding, and there's one of the guys that lived out there. This was in Missouri. He kept saying that he didn't understand a word that any of the Brits were saying. So there's quite a few British people went over, and he kept saying, "I don't understand what you're saying," and he just started like making fun of us, just like saying just random words in incomprehensible sentences because that's what we sounded like to him. And it's like, really, because I didn't think we were really using that much slang or anything. We were just talking normally. I mean, I don't particularly use a lot of slang. I know some people do. I don't live too far from London. I know London has its own slang. I'm not talking about like the Cockney rhyming slang. It has its own different like slang and stuff there. But thing is, what's brilliant about this country is you can travel literally anywhere and they'll have their own dialect and their own slang. I'm not just talking about like the different accents, but just different words in general. Like if you go up north, they've got words that they use only up there. And if you go down south in like or to the West Country, then they've got words that they only use there, and they don't particularly consider them to be slang words. They're just words that they use. And then obviously we've got Wales and Scotland as well, and they've got their own dialects. In fact, they've got their own languages as well. But if you're speaking in English, then obviously they've got their own dialects and their own slang. So where I'm from the south of England. So the words I use are going to be a little bit different, say someone from Birmingham or from someone, say from like Manchester or Newcastle, and the further north you go it changes still. Or so, but anyway, I've had a quick look, and there seems to be a few common themes in these videos. Certain words that the Americans or people from other countries get really confused on. I've watched some with Australians as well. They seem to, their dialects and slang words seem to be more similar to English than say Americans. So I've written down some words, and first word is pissed. And what could pissed mean? Pissed actually has several meanings. In this context, I'm going to say it means drunk. If someone is pissed, they're drunk basically. And there's other words for drunk. You can say that arseholed. Arseholed is different to arsehole. So you call someone arsehole, that's obviously an insult. If you say someone is arseholed, that means that they're pissed, which means they're drunk. Older terms could be like legless, but people don't tend to use the word legless so much anymore. If someone's pissed off, then that means they're angry, annoyed. Basically, if you've pissed someone off, and they might say, you've really pissed me off, that means they're not happy with you basically. So I keep looking over to my notes. I've got notes here. Don't know if you can read that. I can barely read it, so I doubt you can read it. Other words for pissed off. You might say you're cheesed off. That's like a nicer way of saying you're pissed off. You're cheesed off or something. But again, that's not used as much as pissed off. Taking the piss. Again, this is a different meaning. Again, if you take the piss, that means you're making fun of somebody, or you're mocking somebody. If you're mocking somebody, making fun of them, that means you're taking the piss. Or you could be taking liberties of somebody, like you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, and then they're like, "You're taking the piss, mate," or something like that. A nicer way of saying that is to say take the mickey or take the Michael. It basically means the same thing, it's just a nicer way of saying it. Obviously, piss means wee as well, to urinate somewhere, so we still say that as well. And you can also say it's pissing down with rain. So if it's torrential, really heavy rain, you can say it's pissing it down out there. It doesn't mean, you know, the heavens are urinating on you, but I guess that's where that expression is from. So that's pissed or piss. I've written down this one, beat. I don't know if this is necessarily a slang word, but I noticed this in a few talk shows when they have guests over from America, and I noticed this a couple of times when the host of the talk show is saying the word beat in reference to defeating an opponent, maybe in a sporting event or something, or in a game. And I've noticed a few Americans get confused because they think the host is saying beat as in to beat someone up, attack them. But they're different. I don't think that's necessarily a slang word. I think it's just the normal word. It's just I have noticed it. If you do have that in America, where you say beat as in to mean defeat someone in a game, then correct me. But maybe the person they had on the talk show was just a little bit dumb. I can't remember who it was now. Bollocks, right? Bollocks, again, one of those words that have several meanings depending on the context. It can mean testicles, so that's a lovely way of saying it. But so if you've kicked someone in the bollocks, you know, and it hurts them, it can really hurt. Or you could just say balls, but bollocks is a nice way of saying it. It also has two opposite meanings depending on how you say it. If something is bollocks, it means it's bad. So if I was to say Independence Day 2 was bollocks, that means it's really, really rubbish, which it is. It's a terrible film, and so I'd say it's bollocks. However, if I was to say Rogue One was the dog's bollocks, that means it's really good. It's a really good film. So bollocks is bad, dog's bollocks is good, and just bollocks on its own is balls. Here's another one, which again, I didn't think of this as slang really, but I suppose it is. My mate said this quite a lot. We're in America, and I was going through lists of different things, and this one came up, is blinding. If something's blinding, that means it's good. You're pleased with it. So if you're making plans to go out with somewhere and then someone says blinding, it means it's good. He agrees, everything's good. So that's what blinding means. Chuffed. This is another one that I see on these videos a lot that people seem to get confused about. And to me, this is just a word. It's not slang to me. It's just a word that we use. Basically, it means pleased. So if I'm chuffed about something, you usually might say I'm well chuffed. You don't just say, you know, I'm chuffed. It's usually well chuffed or something like that. So that means pleased. I did see a video where they said it could mean excited, but I don't really think so. I think no, I'm going to disagree with that one. Here's one that I remember when I was in America I got asked about, was bloody. The person wanted to know if it was a swear word or not. I suppose technically, yeah, it is a swear, but it's not really a strong swear word. I mean they have it in like things like Doctor Who and stuff. It basically it puts emphasis on the word after it. Like you could say something was awful, or you could say it's bloody awful, or you could even say it's bloody good, or bloody marvellous, or just anything like that. It emphasises, it adds weight to the following word. But you can also use it in surprise, like oh bloody hell, you know, that's a surprise thing, or bloody heck, bloody hell, whatever. So that's like a strong sense of surprise. But you can also use it in like aggression, like what the bloody hell do you think you're doing? You know, you'd only say it like that if you're really mad with somebody. You wouldn't just say that in a calm way. So yeah, I suppose technically it is a swear word, but it's not really a strong one. To be honest, us Brits tend to swear so much that all the swear words lose all meaning. I feel like we need to come up with new words, because all the existing ones have just lost all their emphasis, that they're just not offensive anymore. Here's one that people seem to get confused about, cheeky. Now, if you watch my channel, you know that I love watching Fun for Louis videos, and he's always saying he's having a cheeky burger or cheeky meal, and there's the expression cheeky Nando's. Did I say cheeky burger? He's a vegan now. I've been watching his old videos. A cheeky veggie curry, what for example, I don't know. Cheeky Nando's is quite a thing. It's like a meme. remember a couple of years ago, Nando's in America was asking UK Nando's, like, what the hell is a cheeky Nando's? Cheeky, in that context, means like spontaneous. Pleasurable and spontaneous. So you want something that's pleasurable, it's spontaneous, it's unplanned. Like you're walking along, you see a Nando's, and you're like, oh, let's have a cheeky Nando's. Or you just, you know, you're bored and you call up your mates and like, let's go and have a cheeky Nando's or something, or a cheeky meal. That's what it means. It can also mean lack of respect in an amusing manner. That's what Google says anyway. I suppose that's right. It's not so much lack of respect, because you do still respect the person, but you're not showing the respect, but it's all done in a fun, amusing way. You're not being disrespectful or anything, but it is, you know, you're not showing the full respect, but it's all done in a fun way, okay? So you're not being rude about it, although you could be. Although if somebody says something and then you say something to mock them or something, they might like, don't be cheeky. So it's several levels down below taking the piss. You know, it's on a whole different league, but on some various level it could possibly mean the same thing. Mug, again, this is one which to me is just a word. It's not a slang word, it's just a word. Obviously, mug can obviously mean something you drink out of, but not in this context. Mug means someone who's stupid, an idiot. Sometimes people, if someone's like having a really bad day or something and everything's just going wrong, they're like, you know, there's a rhetorical thing. They might say, do I have mug written on my head? Like saying, am I an idiot? You know, are you taking the piss out of me? You might say, don't mug me, which means like, don't take me for an idiot. You know, I am actually intelligent, so don't treat me like an idiot. So that's like, don't mug me. Again, not meaning don't, you know, steal off all my stuff off me, you know, in the street, beat me up and take my stuff. That's the different don't mug me. Although, you know, you might say it in both contexts if, you know, you're out and someone's attacking you. Again, this is another word I use all the time and I don't consider it to be slang, but apparently it is. Knackered. Because, well, if you watch my videos, you know I suffer with CFS, so I say I'm knackered quite a lot. Knackered is tired, exhausted. I think it's beyond tired. You know, you say I'm knackered. Normally you'd be knackered after a hard day of work. It's like you're worn out. You just, you know, you've worked yourself to exhaustion and you're knackered. Basically, that's what that means. Sometimes you might call an old car knack. If something's broken about it, you might be like, you know, that car's knackered, mate. So that's what that means. Tired, worn out, not functioning properly, whether it refers to yourself or to an old banger car. Cuppa, cup of tea. I think that one's self-explanatory. Chinwag, again, I'm surprised people don't know what this means. Chinwag. You're moving your chin. It means talking nonsense, really. You might have ladies get together for a coffee morning and have a good old chinwag. I don't think guys use the expression chinwag as much. Maybe they do. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. My writing's so bad. I'm on the next page now. Okay, here's my next page. Can you read that? Is that even slightly readable to you? Leg it. I would have thought this was self-explanatory. If someone says leg it, what do you think it means? You've got your legs. You need to use them. Run. You wouldn't just say run. It does mean run, but it normally means run away from something or someone. So you wouldn't go to like the 100-meter final at athletics track and say leg it, because that's not quite right. But I don't know, if you're in a situation and somehow you find somebody after you, or you don't want somebody to be chasing after you, but like leg it is like get out of here quick. Tosser, apparently that's not known in other countries either. Tosser is an insult. If you call somebody a tosser, you're insulting them, basically. They're an idiot, stupid. Can also mean wanker. I think most countries know what that is. Nicked. I'm surprised. See, again, to me, this isn't slang. This is just a word. Nicked. It means to steal something. If you nick something, you steal it. I don't mean like if you nick. Obviously, if you nick something, it can also mean like gouging something out of something. Maybe actually, a gouge is a bit bigger than a nick. But Nick is to steal, so if you've nicked something. So a thief might nick something and then leg it. In it, I don't really like the word in it. That's more of a London word, really. I don't tend to hear it so much in other parts of the country, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, it means isn't it or ain't it. I don't like the word ain't either. A lot of people might use the word in it at the end of a sentence, like she is well fit in it, or that was a well good cheeky Nando's in it. I don't. It's not really a word that I use, but it is an English slang word that I do know. If someone says it to me, I know what they're talking about. Safe, obviously, safe has many meanings. It could mean something is secure. It could mean where you put your money, or something's not dangerous, but that's not a slang meaning. Mates, friends might say to each other, safe, bruv. It could be hello, goodbye. It can mean good. So if you're making arrangements to go somewhere together later, you might be like, safe, bruv. And so safe means you're agreeing. It's like an agreement, and it's a good agreement. So if something's safe, it's generally a good thing. A slapper. Slapper means slut, slag, hoe, woman that sleeps around a lot. So if you don't generally call guys a slapper. I mean, I don't see why you can't, but generally it's a woman who sleeps around a lot is a bit of a slapper. Blank. Again, I've always used this just as a normal word. To me, this isn't slang, but apparently it is. So if you're to blank somebody, you ignore them. So I would have thought that was self-explanatory. So if someone's talking to me and I just don't want to know them, I just blank them out, and I'm not talking to them. You can also say air, but I don't use that, but I do use the phrase blank. I've literally no idea what this says. This is what I've written. Where is it? I have no idea what that says. I'm going to skip that one because I can't read it. Alright, moving on, because I can't read my own writing. Again, this is another one which apparently is slang. I didn't realise this was slang. Something's naff. That means it's not very good. Not on the same extreme as to say if something's bollocks. Naff is several levels lower than that, but it's not a good thing. If something's naff, it means it's not very good. It's not brilliant. Okay, it's not completely rubbish, but it's definitely not good. Gormless, again, I didn't realise this was a slang word. I just thought this was a regular word. If someone's a bit gormless, it means they're a bit dumb, a bit stupid, maybe a bit clumsy, a bit of an idiot, really. Jumper doesn't mean someone that likes to jump around a lot. Jumper is what some people might call a sweater. So what you wear in winter, basically. So I like to wear lots of t-shirts, but in the winter I'd put a jumper. Or some people call them jersey. I notice older people tend to use the word jersey. I think younger people use that so much. Again, I can't read my own writing. This one, I can't read that. Whatever that says. No idea what that says. I really should write neater. My handwriting's getting worse. Trainers. I don't think this is a slang word. It's just a word that we use that other countries don't. I mean, sports shoe. So we don't say sneakers. That's an American word, so we'd say trainers. Apparently stroppy is a British slang word, but I think that's just more of a British word than a slang word. I think some of these are just like British words rather than British slang. Someone's stroppy, it means they're in a bad mood. So if you're in a strop, it means you're in a mood, basically. And it's not a good one. Oh, bear. If someone says bear, not as in like a grizzly or a black bear, that's a different type of bear. So if someone says, I think B-A-R-E, bear, that means lots. So again, if someone goes to Nando's and they have bear chicken, it means they've got lots of chicken. So if someone wants to have a cheeky Nando's and then they get bear chicken, then that's really good. They're having a fun, spontaneous time getting lots of chicken, basically. Here's one that is definitely different in America to Britain. Fag. Of course, in America, if someone's a fag, that means that they're gay. In Britain, fag means cigarette. So if you ask someone if they've got a spare fag, or you might say I'm going out to smoke a fag, it doesn't mean that you're going out to smoke somebody. Oh, here's one. This is more of an older one. I don't know if younger people use this so much. Donkey's years. So if I haven't seen one in a long time, you might say I haven't seen one in donkey's years or something like that. Just means a very long time, basically. You usually use it to express if you haven't seen somebody for a long time. You don't. You could use it for other meanings, but it's like a very long time ago. This one is, again, I've seen people on TV make this mistake. So, in America, you have something called a Fanny Pack, which in this country you call a bum bag. Like the bag that goes around your waist, you put things in it. I don't have one to show you. I'm demonstrating around my waist. You can't see that. It's out of camera shot. I don't know why I'm doing that. Don't come to England and ask if where you can buy a fanny pack, because in England fanny means vagina, basically. Long time ago, Fanny was actually a female's name. I'm talking a very long time ago, but it hasn't been used as a name in quite a good few decades now. But it used to be a name. Like there was somebody called Fanny Adams that got killed, and sometimes that can actually be used as well to mean something. I have to check that. But fanny is vagina, not. Fancy. Apparently other countries don't know this. I was trying to describe this to a Czech girl once, a long time ago, and I thought that's just because English wasn't her first language. If you fancy something, you might fancy a cake. It means I would like a cake. But if you fancy somebody, then that means you really like them. So you might like somebody, which is like on this level, and then you might love somebody, which is on this level. But if you fancy them, then that is like on that level. So you've got like, fancy, love. So if you fancy someone, although, you know, sometimes you might fancy someone just based off their looks. You might see somebody walking across the bar in the distance. You might think, oh, I really fancy that person. But that's just a very shallow liking, really, I suppose, because you basically based that on not really knowing the person. But then you might even get to know them, then you're, oh, I really fancy you. But then by the time you really get to someone, like, know someone, you might say, oh, you know, I really like you. So maybe I should swap fancy and like around. Depends on the context of how you use it. But now I really fancy having a cake. Yeah. So it's to like somebody or like something. That's fancy. Porcupines. If someone's talking porkies, if they're saying porkies, that means a lie, basically. They're just outright lying to you. So porcupine rhymes with lies. So that would be like Cockney rhyming slang. With Cockney rhyming slang, how it works, you have normally you have like a 2-word phrase, and then the second word in that phrase rhymes with what it is you want to say, but you only say the first word. So porkies means lies, because lies rhymes with pies. So you're having a pork pie, lies, porcupines. That's generally how it works. Again, like if you've got if you'd have a butcher's at something, that's actually further down my list, but I say it now while I'm thinking of butchers. So if I'm going into a shop, I might have a butcher's. That means to have a look around, and the reason is you've got a butcher's hook that you hang the meat on, like the carcass, and hook rhymes with look, so butcher's hook means look, basically. So butcher's is to have a look. That's generally how Cockney rhyming slang works. Again, a lot of the old Cockney rhyming slang words aren't generally used so much anymore, but a few of them are. Okay, normally when people do videos like this, they go, oh, I know what apples and pears means. I'm like, good for you. Everyone knows what apples and pears means. I'm not even going to tell you what that means. Work it out. What rhymes with pears? Snog. I don't think this is a slang word. I think this is just another word which is in British English, which isn't in other languages, English. Snog is to kiss someone, so it could be like French kissing basically, so it's full on kissing, necking, making out. A peng, if someone's peng, it means they're attractive. And also attractive is fit. So if someone's hot, obviously it means they're attractive. But if someone's fit, in this country, don't tend to use the word hot so much to say someone's attractive. You might say that it's well fit. It basically means they're really attractive. It could also mean that they work out at the gym as well. Spliff. Spliff means joint, smoking weed basically. Balls up or cock up both mean similar things. It's to mess up. If you mess up a situation, if you do something bad, then that's a bit of a cock up. Phrase Bob's your uncle. Again, this one is so normal to me, I don't consider it to be, I just think it's weird that other people don't know this. So if Bob's your uncle, it means situation's good, sorted, cool. So if something good has happened, or like you've arranged for something good to happen, it's like Bob's your uncle. Big girl's blouse means wimp. You could say someone's a pussy if they're a big girl's blouse. So again, I think that's more of an older expression. Some of these are a little bit dated. When I was doing the research for this, I watched a video, and it had this, I think it was like an Indian woman talking about English slang, and almost every comment on there from someone from Britain was saying that these words are like really out of date and old, and like saying, you know, these are words that were used like 20 years ago, or last century, which I suppose would have been 20 years ago. And I never really thought about, you know, the way slang changes really quickly of each new generation. I suppose it does, and actually some of the words she said on that video, I was like, wow, these are really old words. And I was thinking actually it was right. Some of them are dated. So slang does change with each generation. So I could make another one of these videos in 10 years, and it probably will be different. Gordon Bennett. Gordon Bennett's never going to go out of fashion. If some bad situation happens, like if you're annoyed, you could say blimey, or like an act of surprise. Sometimes people might say like Jesus Christ, you know, something really bad has just happened, and like what the fuck's going on. But a less way of saying that is to say Gordon Bennett, and there was actually a Gordon Bennett, and that was on an episode of QI, which is a program we have over here where they tell you lots of interesting facts, and it's like a comedy game show. And I think there was actually an original Gordon Bennett who was a bit hopeless. Arse over tit, this means falling over in a funny way. And you're not expecting to fall over, so you're falling over in a completely unexpected manner, and you look like a complete idiot, and you fall arse over tit. Codswallop. I use this word, but I don't think younger people use codswallop. It's like a nonsensical, stupid situation. So if you find something yourself in a situation which is just completely stupid, it's codswallop. I use it, but I don't really know many people that do. In fact, I've heard that phrase used so infrequently, I was starting to think, is this just some stupid phrase that I've made up myself? Because I do tend to do that. But then I was looking this up, and it's like, oh, it is a real thing. But again, it's obviously not used very much. Faff apparently is a slang word that other countries don't have. If someone's faffing about, imagine, like, if say you're at work, right, and you're focusing on a job and you're getting that job done, but then you've got a work colleague over here, they're doing something there, then they're doing something there, then they're doing something there, and they're not really getting anything done. They're walking around, they're moving about really quickly, it creates the illusion that they're working, but actually they're achieving nothing. That means they're faffing about, and you're like, just stop faffing, or stop faffing about. So that's what faff means. Nosh has two meanings, very different meanings. One meaning is food, so you might you know, have a nice plate of nosh or something. That's the meaning that I've always known about, is the food meaning. When I was doing the research on this, apparently it also means blowjob. I did not know that. A word that I like to use quite a lot is having a giraffe, which basically means laugh, giraffe, laugh. So that would be from Cockney rhyming slang. Tar, not tar that goes on the road or your cigarettes. Tar means thank you, thanks. So if somebody gives you something, you say tar, means thank you. Okay, if something is mint or sick, means good. Obviously sick also means vomit as well, but if something's sick, if it's like well sick, it means it's good. So yeah, that's the list I've got. So I did find when I was looking up words, this website, and it just full of words and phrases, all about British phrases and slangs. It was actually a website designed for Americans coming to Britain, and I think I can't use all these words and phrases because they're just normal words. I was thinking surely they must know what these mean. There's so many of them, and I was thinking, blimey, you know, it's like translating from like Japanese to English or something. You know, what I mean by that is, it's like, do they speak such a different language that they need this translation? And it's just like, nah, this is silly. Yeah, I just thought of one, curry. When I was in America, no one seemed to know what a curry was. Didn't help that my mate was calling it a Ruby Murray, or a Ruby. Curry is just a spicy Indian dish. But no, nobody where I went, so I was in Missouri, and nobody there seemed to know what that meant. I'm trying to think of other words that they didn't understand. Can't think of any right now. Anyway, I've no idea how long I've talked for. Hopefully this video isn't too long. So I should get back to my normal, regular insanity of nonsensical videos soon. I've got a vlog on my memory card which I need to edit and upload for you guys. It's not very interesting, which I haven't actually got around to it yet. I'm hoping to actually do something a bit more exciting before I post that, but I'm not sure I will be. I'm working the next 3 days, and then after that I don't know, so we'll see. So anyway, if you like this, subscribe. I'm going to stick this subscribe thing up here and a video link over here somewhere, and yeah, right, cheers, thanks, bye.